Hey everybody. Yeah, it's Wednesday, the 30th of October, Halloween Eve, if you will. Halloween Eve, if you will, and it's 2013. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can before my mom shows up and even before perhaps my brother-in-law takes me to work, but I'm not sure because he didn't call. But, last, 2 nights ago, I didn't watch Raw that much except for the ending because I read most about I read about it mostly online, and you know, I have to agree there were some things that nobody saw coming. But what's interesting about what came out of Raw, what's interesting about what came out of Raw was the behind the scenes news. Now we all know that the Wyatt family attacked CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. We know that. And a lot of people might assume that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are behind it because of the fact that earlier in the night, you had Kane basically give himself to Stephanie McMahon and say, hey, I am yours to unleash. And basically handed her his mask, thus going back, I guess you could say, to the unmasked version of Kane that we've seen before. Now, a lot of people, there's some fans that have tied this all, there's basically a lot of fans that are trying to tie this all in together and try to look at the possibilities. Because as Jeff Siegel pointed out in his Raw review, it's basically a multi-tier story. And there's a lot of possibilities that could come out of it. A lot of possibilities. Now, what's funny though is when you look online, there's rumors and speculation being abound that the individual that made the Wyatt family attack Daniel Bryan and attack CM Punk, there's rumor and speculation as of yesterday that individual will be revealed to be Vince McMahon. And that there's also the revelation that Kane gave himself to Stephanie as her monster to unleash because of her father. There's speculation and rumor about that. Now you might ask and say, well, wait a minute. I thought they were going to bring Vince McMahon back as a babyface. And they still might. But according to the numerous rumors and reports, on Raw 2 nights ago, or 2 afternoons ago, there were several rewrites being done in the afternoon, being overseen by Vince McMahon himself. And a lot of these rewrites were basically like WWE hitting a reset button on the storyline. That's what it seems to me. So what does that mean? What does that mean by WWE hitting their own reset button? Which I know a lot of you is going to say, oh, that's kind of ironic. TNA hit a reset button at Battle for Glory, and now WWE's hitting the reset button? I wonder. But anyway, people want to know exactly what that means. What's with the reset? My only thought is this. This is just my opinion as a fan. My opinion as a fan. This is my thought. That the original plans to have Vince McMahon come back as the babyface and Triple H portray the heel, I've got a feeling we're going to end up getting a double turn down the line. We're still going to have the Vince Triple H feud and power struggle feud, if you will. We're still going to have that. We're going to still have the power struggle feud. We're still going to have that. But things are going to change. Things are going to change to the point that you're going to have Triple H. My opinion only. I could be wrong, but my opinion only. You're going to have Triple H turn babyface, and you're going to have Big Show, who's the babyface right now, turn heel. Yeah, I know that seems a little crazy, the way that sounds illogic. That sounds very illogical, the way they're portraying Big Show as now, but think about it. WWE knows they are going up against stiff competition from ESPN's Monday Night Football and the ABC network's Dancing with the Stars. They know that. So they know that the only way you're going to get people's eyes off those products and onto theirs is to do things no one would see coming. No one would see coming. So, I mean, a lot of people said that Raw was very unpredictable at times. Like one of the most unpredictable Raws they've seen in a while. And that's one thing WWE's got to do. They got to start being more unpredictable, even to the internet. They got to be unpredictable. So I believe what WWE is doing is they're realizing that, hey, the only way we're going to get people to view our shows, view our product, and get them away from Monday Night Football, get them away from Dancing with the Stars and other primetime fall shows, is to give them unpredictability and go in a direction they wouldn't see coming. And that's basically what it seems they're doing. They're going in a direction nobody would see coming, which I can only assume as a fan, my opinion only, I can only assume as a fan means, ladies and gentlemen, means that we're going to see we will possibly see a double turn at Survivor Series or somewhere down the line before this year's out. And again, I know some of you might say that that's kind of stupid, that's kind of illogical, the way they've been pushing Big Show, the way they've been making him into this big-time babyface. Well, that's just the thing. Think about it from a business sense. You rally behind somebody so much. You get behind them, you support them, you cheer for them, and all that. And then all of a sudden, they turn. Just like that. And you find out that it's all been a ruse. It's all been a setup. And that you were played for puppets. Am I right? We've seen it before in wrestling, right? We've seen it before. Basically, it's all ruse. You're played for puppets. I would not be surprised if that's the case. But again, that's just my opinion as a fan. It's just my opinion as a fan. You want to go, if you want to get people's attention on your product, you got to do things no one would see coming. And in my opinion, I think that's what WWE is trying to do. WWE is trying to get people behind their product, rally behind their product, because they know that this right now, going into November, if you will, this is basically the heart and meat of the fall season. This is the heart and meat of the football season. This is the heart and the meat of, for mid-season finales like Dancing with the Stars and all these other fall shows. This is the heart and the meat of that time period, of this season. This is the heart and the meat of it. And they know they want to get a big chunk out of that. They want to get a big chunk of meat out of all that, a big, chunky, juicy piece of meat out of that. They got to do things they would not see, that nobody would see coming. And I think that's what WWE is doing. Now you might say, well, what about the whole thing with John Cena? Well, John Cena being brought in, yeah, some people might say storyline wise and realistically, if he was brought back too soon. And the truth is, you could argue about that all you want. The fact is, WWE knows they need they need certain elements to be in the positions they are to help them gain that viewership. That along with the unpredictability, gain the viewership that they need to get people's eyes on the product. You know, when you had Damian Sandow cash in and lose, becoming the second man ever to go bankrupt, if you will, when cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. When you had Damian Sandow do that, some might say it kind of went both ways with Sandow. It elevated and buried him. It elevated him, showing that he can go one-on-one with someone like John Cena in a big match situation. But in a sense, people might say it also buried him because they're saying, look, maybe you weren't the guy meant to be Mr. Money in the Bank. Maybe we should have given it to Cody. Maybe we should have given it to somebody else. You know? Again, that's just me. You know, maybe they'll realize it. Maybe we should have given it. Again, maybe they'll realize it. Hey, maybe we should have given it to Antonio. Maybe we should have given it to Cody. You know? But again, it's things like that. That make you, kind of look at it as an elevation and a burial. It's elevating his stock. There's no doubt about it. But it's burying him. But on the other hand, it's burying him because they're saying, you know what, maybe you weren't the guy. Maybe you're not ready for that. Maybe we should have given it to someone more established. And again, perhaps that's the reason why he didn't succeed on Monday night. Who knows? But that's how some people look at it. They look at it as a two-way street. And then you take a look at Randy Orton being in the position he's in. Yes, he's WWE champion now. Yes, his focus is no longer with Daniel Bryan, but it's more so possibly on the Big Show and whoever steps up to the plate. And right now, and depending on who that is, whether it's Big Show or somebody else, right now all the pieces are aligned. And when you take a look at what they're doing with the Wyatt family, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, and the possibility of who could be behind that, right now they've got all the pieces they need, whether we like it or not, in place to try to gain that viewership, gain those ratings, gain eyes onto the product so that they can compete and, as I mentioned, get a huge, juicy piece of that meat, eat away from the competition, if you will, that is Monday Night Football and Dancing with the Stars and several other fall TV shows and programs. That's why they're doing this. And again, that's why I would not be surprised either before Survivor Series, at Survivor Series, afterwards, on the post Survivor Series edition of Raw. I would not be surprised if we get a double turn. I mean, think about it. We got a double turn earlier this year with Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, Del Rio and Ziggler went and switched roles. Am I right? And it's been proven in the past that when somebody switches roles in one match or during one storyline, that it works. It gets people interested in the product. Back in 97, WrestleMania 13, they did that with Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it worked. See, a double turn, depending on the participants involved in the storyline that it's a part of, can either work or it could fail, and that is why I believe if a double turn, in my opinion as a fan, if a double turn is going to be the result of this feud down the line before this year's out, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Now you might say, okay, well, if that's the case, what about Stephanie McMahon? Knowing WWE and how they want to try to be unpredictable and try to outsmart the internet, I would not be surprised if they have Stephanie McMahon side with her father. I would not be. Think about it. Think about it. She's a McMahon. She doesn't have the name Stephanie Levesque. She doesn't use the word name Stephanie Levesque. She doesn't use the word Stephanie McMahon Levesque. She uses Stephanie McMahon on television. So to me, I truly believe, in my opinion, folks, I truly believe as a fan, if WWE goes in this direction when it's revealed that Vince McMahon's the one behind the beatings that the Wyatt family gave CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, if they go in the direction, in my opinion, of doing a double turn between Triple H and Big Show's feud, between Big Show and Triple H during their feud, I would not be surprised if they have Stephanie McMahon align herself with her father. And the storyline logic could make sense. The storyline logic behind that could make sense. She could be like, look, I'm the only one that's a true heiress to the throne. I'm the one true heiress to the throne with the name McMahon. You know, I'm not a Levesque. I'm not a Helmsley that's trying to take over. I'm a McMahon. And maybe the storyline logic is Vince wants a McMahon to take over the company and not somebody that married into the family. I'm just saying. That could be the reason. But again, it's my opinion as a fan. So, but that's the way I see things going on right now in the company, storyline-wise. I mean, after what we saw at Raw, you know, the surprised ending at Hell in a Cell, you know, to me, I would not, it's my opinion as a fan, but I would not be surprised if WWE went through and did all that I mentioned because of some of the rumors and speculation and reports that have been talked about over the past few days, from the rewrites that took place before Raw, the reset button that they pushed for, I guess, the storylines, the speculation of Vince McMahon being behind the attacks on Daniel Bryan and CM Punk and all that. I would not be surprised if all this goes down. As a fan, I would not be surprised. So let me know what you guys think of it. But that's my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, on the state of the current WWE storylines. So until then, peace out. God bless. But again, that's my thoughts on the current state of the WWE and its storyline.